All right, guys, we are live. Today we're talking about the 7 best ways to get wholesale leads. And we really got to kind of deep dive this topic so we can understand what is a wholesale lead, and most importantly, where do your leads come from? And as I've always said, if you're new to this live stream, marketing is the key to your success in wholesaling. If you're going to decide to leave your marketing in the fate of some other marketer's hand to deliver you wholesale leads, I already know where you're headed to, and it ain't going to be pretty. And so we're going to go over this today. I'm going to go through the 7, the ones that I use to get the best wholesale leads, and I'm going to show you how you can harvest these lists and to get the most highly motivated sellers that you can. But before I get into it, do me a favor. Number 1, if you are brand new to our channel, do me a favor, go in the comments, introduce yourself, tell them what market you're in, tell them if you just got started, tell me if you've been doing this 20 years or maybe 23 years like me, maybe 24, and make a friend out there. We only talk about wholesaling on here. I'm not going to sit here and talk about crypto. We're not going to talk about the stock market. We are going to talk about wholesaling. Why? Because there's very few people on the air that have more experience than me when it comes to wholesaling. I started back in 2003. I absolutely love this business. And my goal is to share how to get started in wholesaling and hopefully get you successful without going through a lot of the pitfalls that I had to go through. When I started this business, there was very little information. So do me a favor, make sure you make a comment on there. If you have a question, do me a favor, just put it in the comments. I know it's the Monday after Thanksgiving. We're all just kind of coming out of like the food stuff, but the reality is we got to get to work. Why? December is probably the best month for wholesaling, in my opinion. Why? A lot of people are asleep at the wheel. Your competition is too busy wrapping gifts. They're too busy talking about what they're going to do for Christmas. And honestly, a lot of people are going to make key decisions at the end of the year. You have the New Year's coming up. Obviously, you have the holidays, and people want to go into 2026 if they got a problematic property. Hopefully, they'll set the goal to get that property sold. This is why December is so key. It is end of year. It is the holidays. People get distracted. In my opinion, it is the best time to whip up on your competition. And guys, keep in mind, most of your competition in wholesaling are people that just want everything done for them. They don't want to do the work. They want to buy a coaching program. They want to write a big check fee and assume that the coach is going to do everything for them. They're in for a rude awakening if you do that. Now, if you want to learn how to do it, you're a little bit smarter than that, and you just don't throw all your money up in the air and go, let me see if this is going to stick, then do this. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach share the most thorough course on wholesaling that you can absolutely get, free or paid for. Why? Because we believe in you. I put in the highest quality effort in this course. This is stuff I've used right here in 2025 going into 2026. I don't rest on the stuff that I learned 23 years ago. This business is constantly changing. It has massively changed really in the last 2 to 3 years. And you need to find out the most up-to-date techniques to keep you current in wholesaling. And we have to understand that. So join us on freewholesaling.com. So let's jump into this. Lots of questions here. Put in your questions and we will definitely get it going. So, and you know what, I want to pay tribute to the people in the comments that understand how to work it. So I've been doing this live stream for quite a bit, and I have to teach you about the consistency model. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to do live streams. We're going to do that. I'm here every Monday. God willingly, occasionally I have to miss a Monday, but for the most part, I have to show up. And that's the one thing I need you guys to do in wholesaling. You have to show up. And I heard today just a great definition of the word discipline that's never really been, I guess my mind never really wrapped it around this definition, but it's completely accurate. Discipline is the art of doing things you don't want to do on a consistent basis. Why? Because if it's something you enjoy and love, it's not really discipline to do it. So when you do something that you don't want to do, but you know you have to do to survive in your business, that is the art of discipline. Me showing up here on Monday, do I make any money off this stream? No. I make connections, I do deals, and I introduce people to wholesaling. That is my gift to you, and I always want to make it here. Now, I'm not the biggest YouTuber out there. I don't want to be. I promise you, I'm probably the most consistent. Like everybody knows they can show up here and they can talk to Uncle Rick or whatever, Daddy Rick, whatever you want to call me. And I'm always going to show up. So if I can show up for a live stream, show up for my wholesaling business, show up for all my employees, show up for my son, then you need to do the exact same. Discipline, the art of doing things you don't want to do on a consistent basis. Because there's no such thing discipline doing something you really love to do. Like I don't have to discipline you to sleep. I don't have to discipline you to eat. Past that, we're all going to have a little bit of a trade-offs there. So make sure you leave a comment. And we will go from there. So I'm seeing your questions. So let's go ahead and get started here. So if we want to talk truly about wholesale leads, and this is the thing that you guys need to understand. Yeah, I know I'm wearing glasses a lot more, dealing with my contact issues. So you get old like me, your eyes get a little bit drier and you got to give your eyes a break, as the doctor told me. So I find them extremely annoying. Anyways, we talk about wholesale leads. The best wholesale leads you can get, which I'm going to go over in today's program, is leads you derive yourself. Why is it so important for you to derive your own leads? Number one, they're exclusive to you. Nobody else has them. Guys, in a world where everybody tells you it's exclusive, most of the people are flat out just lying to you. Why? Because it's a sales gimmick. How many of you guys in this live stream right now are part of a course, and one of the selling features was it's evergreen or a lifetime membership? I am. Who's been bought like that stuff? Like, do you really believe that you have a lifetime membership to any course? Because honestly, I think there's less than 3 or 4 companies that have been around since the day I've been born that they still will honor their warranties and stuff. So guys, put in the comments here if you have a program they told you was evergreen or lifetime. It's the biggest lie told to you guys. And if we're willing to lie about evergreen and lifetime, because it's impossible, I would never let myself or my son sell a program called evergreen or lifetime, because I'm lying to you. I cannot predict the future, nor can I control what somebody else does when I'm not here. And the reality is most people come in the wholesaling, they want to get out in 4 to 5 years. If you don't believe me, look at the current coaching thing. The people that I just watched the yo-yo wheel go around. One thing all in common, they all sell lifetime and evergreen programs. And that's the problem with this business. So if we're willing to sell you lifetime access, which you'll never get because nobody can afford to do it, there is a cost to maintain your customers, even for free. There's a cost. It's time and it's technology. Now, let's talk about exclusive leads. A lot of you guys go to companies and you think you're getting exclusive leads. It's like the word organic in the food business. God only knows what makes something organic and what doesn't. Did you know if it's marked organic outside the United States, it's a completely different set of rules? And that's how most products are marked. Because let's be honest, most of you guys buy, you see the organic 100%, you see the label and you just buy it. There's very, very few checks and balances on it, especially outside the United States. So where am I going with this? When we talk about exclusivity, do you guys really believe you're getting an exclusive lead? Listen, the entire PPL industry admits they sell their leads 3 to 5 times over, and that's just what they're admitting to. It's probably double that. I have no idea. There's no transparency in it. So the problem is, if you cannot derive your own leads, you have to accept whatever information people tell you. And that's the point of today's live stream is if you take back control of your marketing and stop letting these third-party companies do it for you, you will instantly guarantee their exclusive leads. Number 2, you'll know the authenticity of the lead. When was it derived and how was it derived? Was it cold call? Was it PPC? Was it a landing page? And then you can get a voice recording, maybe if it was a cold call or something like that. And then you know exactly how to move forward with it. And that's what I want to stress to you guys mostly when we go over these leads is you have to verify where the lead came from, how you got the lead, and is the lead exclusive to you. The problem with the word exclusive, as we've seen, it gets manipulated. And remember, I always said marketing is the number one skill set of a wholesaler. So why on earth would you think a professional marketing company that's going to sell you leads, that really never done a wholesale deal ever in their life, they're just an outside vendor looking to sell you something, why do you think they're going to tell you the truth? They're not. Now, they have the right to sell the leads to multiple people. I just wish it would be disclosed. I know on some of the forums you can see how many people bought it, which honestly is a step in the right direction, but I don't really trust that information because they're in the business of selling leads and they're going to sell it as many times over as possible. I think that's morally and ethically wrong, and I think it's dangerous. Now, the thing is, you can buy old leads, you can buy new leads. The problem is we don't know what we're buying outside of our control. And the one thing I will tell you guys when we get into these companies is, what is your return on investment? And the one thing that I found out through a lot of these third-party lead companies is they will never, ever, ever share an ROI with you. Their ROI, they know exactly what it is. Why? Because they're there to make a profit. I don't blame them. It's the American way. The problem on that equation is when you don't know what your ROI is. And if you just keep spending money and money, I saw a post the other day where someone bought 280 leads from a third-party vendor and said they haven't got a deal yet. Now, I'm going to question, how bad are your leads if you're buying 280 and not one's interested? Once again, you have to figure out how to do marketing. And somewhere around 2018, 19, this whole thing pivoted because most of these companies have been around 4 or 5 years and they were selling leads. And in the beginning, it probably worked out pretty good. But now that there's so many companies out there, and now you're starting to finally see some price competition, which has been sorely, sorely missed. And here's the reality, guys. They're going to do whatever they got to do to sell that lead to you. Now, some of these companies are in the United States, some are outside the United States, some are immune to lawsuits or just immune to any type of litigation, which, hold on one second. Okay, I got it. And it's funny. Let's see. Okay, I got it fixed. I'm just saying, guys, the word exclusive, unless you can 100% verify and people show you factual information, assume you're buying a lead that has been picked apart. So, okay, let's figure this out. Why does this always happen on my streams? Okay, hold on. There we go. I think I'm getting hacked here. Whatever. So if you understand that, the one rule I want you to understand is if you don't know where the lead comes from, for God's sakes, don't buy it. That's just common sense. Because right now I'm finding, I've watched it through our company. I've watched it through multiple other companies. Listen, if you're buying cheap leads, you know what you're getting. And I don't have a problem you spend $500 or $800 on a pack, but I understand you're going to have to get through all leads to even have a shot at one deal. And you know what you're getting in when you do those deals. My problem is the exclusivity. And I think it is one of the biggest farces in the wholesale companies, in our business, because you don't, like, if one person, if they sold the lead once, then dynamite. When they sell it 2 and 3 times, very questionable. But if they're going to tell you they sell it 3 to 5 times, who's to say they didn't sell it 10, 50, or 100 times? We have no idea. I get it. You get a refund on the lead, but like, who wants to go through that game? So I want you to keep in mind, exclusivity is the name. Exclusivity is the name. If you can get an exclusive lead, your odds of getting a wholesale deal go through the freaking roof. Does everybody? I've always said this for 23 years of wholesaling. And guys, when I started out, all these companies weren't around. Now, I believe some of them provided valuable service, but the problem is at what cost? Until this industry can give you a clear ROI, do me a favor. When you buy these leads, ask the company, what is my return on my investment? You're going to get a blank stare, or it depends on a lot. And that's the reality, is how many you got to buy. What is your retention rate for customers? Oh, I already know what that number is. It's extremely low. Most people cycle in out of on leads companies 2 to 3 months on average. Why? Because they don't get a return on investment. Why do you think people constantly go back to direct mail? I get a 5 to 6 times return. Why? I derive my own leads. Now, I'm not knocking the companies altogether. I'm just saying you need to know what you're getting into when you make that investment. And if you can get clarity on, if the lead is exclusive or not. Now, here's the play on words is, oh, it's exclusive to our platform. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. So guys, if you're buying any lead really under like $20, you kind of know where it's going to a point. I'm not saying those leads don't work. A lot of times you can rewarm those leads up and make them work. It is better than calling 10 or 12,000 raw cold call leads to a point. We're going to go over that a little bit today, but I'm just trying to let you know, find out if your lead is exclusive. If you can make the lead exclusive, it's usually worth going all in with it to make it happen. Because at some point, if you hire someone to do everything else for you, they're going to be paid as much as you, if not more, and you're taking on all the risk. And that's my problem with using third-party vendors. Number two, most of them have never done a wholesale deal to save their life, period. Most of them couldn't even figure out how to close a wholesale deal. They're marketers. They're there to market, to sell you leads. They're not wholesalers. They never wanted to be wholesalers. And their job is to sell as many leads. Now, I've gone to plenty of events across the country. There's dozens of companies that do this. They have the right to do it. I don't have a problem with it. I just wish it would be extremely transparent. What was the date of the lead? How did you derive the lead? And what is my return on investment on average on this lead platform source? If we could answer those three questions, I would be the #1 supporter of any third marketing company. But here's the dirty truth, guys. You ready for this? Here's the dirty truth. Most of these companies don't derive their own leads. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, but like, think about this. If everybody is a third party, where are they getting the leads from? That's right. They get it from companies that harvest leads, and then they just broker it out. And you can make money doing that. I'm not saying you can't make money, but are you going to get a good return on your investment? I already know the answer to that one. It's going to be rough. So I will answer the questions as we get in here. So let's get into it. You guys got to understand, if you could derive your own leads, you know they're exclusive. You know the date you got them. You know if the lead's red hot or not. You don't need any AI to vet you or any of that crap. And then you can go and get the highest profit from that. If you can derive just a cup full of leads like that a month, you'll do very well in wholesaling. Do I think I can get that cup full from a third-party vendor? Highly unlikely. If they did, they would brag it to the moon. In fact, I've seen screenshots of these people selling millions of dollars of leads a month, and I only see a couple testimonials. I like, do the numbers. Do I have to spend $500,000 to get a lead? I don't know. The thing is, the returns have never worked out for our companies. I've never, ever gone that route. And the reason is the return on investment is just not there. Now, it would be really cool if these companies derive their own leads and they go, hey, here's how we got the lead. Here's the timestamp to it. Here's the employee that did it. I would change my tune completely. But until that's done, guys, understanding you are being priced out of the market by these marketers, and that is going to be the challenge. So let's talk about how we can actually derive our own leads so we can get exclusivity, get the highest profit level, and find out most motivated sellers. And some of this is going to be redundant, but I'm going to walk through a little bit in detail on one of them. Let's go with the basement driving for dollars. If you can put your eyes on it, there's no third-party marketing company that can do this for you. These are so much better. Give me 500 driving for dollars leads and versus 500 PPL leads. It will destroy it 100 times over, period. Guys, don't overlook these types of leads. They work very, very well. You just get in your car and you look for ugly properties. If I had to show up in your backyard tomorrow to start wholesaling, and by the way, that's what I do as wholesaling. I don't sell leads. I want to make you a complete wholesaler. The first thing I would do is get in the car and do a driving for dollars leads. We would do a lot more, but I'm going to take the easiest low-hanging fruit. Why? I'm going to find my probates. I'm going to find my evictions. I'm going to find my tax delinquencies. I'm going to find all my foreclosures in that. It is the greatest catch-all you can do to find problematic properties, because if I see the property's ugly, the property's going to tell you a story. The question is, can you connect with the homeowner to get the story behind it? Now, you're saying, well, Rick, everybody drives by in those properties. The amount of properties I've bought off driving for dollars leads where nobody really did anything other than an initial phone call and they never followed up, it's like endless. So remember, you just have to beat the average wholesaler. If the average wholesaler is looking for a third-party marketing company to feed them all their leads, they're going to run out of money. They're not going to use a robust system like XLeads to make sure they follow up, use the AI automations on everything, tie it to the Twilio account. And I'm going to teach you how to do all that stuff. But driving for dollars, guys, that would be it. If I had to go to 3 cities, I'd target 500 leads each city, and I would write them down. And we would do whatever we had to do on reverse driving for dollars, sticky notes on it. We would cold call and we'd pull the numbers through XLeads, and we would send them automated emails through XLeads. And we would obviously put them in an SMS campaign to do automation and follow up with them. I would do it so hard. I promise you I can squeeze a lead out of it. If you guys don't believe me, this is what I've done when I've come to your towns. Does it take energy to do it? Yeah, but it's really not that hard. So driving for dollars, guys, simple, 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 simple. Easy. I'll go over the third-party stuff. We'll deep dive into that on the next one. The next one that this should be in every town. Get your code violation list. This is like the government going out and producing leads for you, and hopefully they're not charging you at all. Now, these leads, as some people make like, it's so funny, but government lists are derived from the city or the county level. Now, I've been preaching on these lists, ready for this, 23 and a half years. You want to talk about consistency? This list has made me a ton of money. There are problematic properties that have been reported to the city and or the county, and the homeowner usually has 30 days to rectify the issue, or they get a lien and a fine against their house on a daily basis. So why not just go take the leads the government gives me? Because what's my return on investment if the list is free? It's infinite. Oh my God, but if I had to go buy 500 leads from a third-party company and I had to pay, I don't know, on average 20, 30 bucks a lead, that's going to get wildly expensive, thousands of dollars. And it's so funny that this entire business has come back full circle. And we're talking about lists like this, guys. Why? Because they're free. It doesn't mean they're easy to get, but they're free. And I love these lists. Tax delinquency, guys. This list will never, ever change. It's always going to be around as long as property taxes are around. And these are people that get behind on their property taxes for 2 years. One of the most public lists that you can access. And honestly, think about this. A person that doesn't pay their property taxes knows what's going to happen. What happens if you don't pay their property taxes? The property gets taken away from them in a foreclosure auction. Now, some states have a lot more variances on time on it. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm not talking about doing tax lien investing. That is not wholesaling. That is a type of real estate investing strategy that has nothing to do with the real estate itself. You're actually buying a debt instrument and you're paying a return on it. And you're hoping you can foreclose on it, only to find out when you go to foreclosure that the house gets bidded up to the highest bidder. And unless it's a property that nobody wants, and those are the most problematic properties, that's the only way you're going to be able to steal that house quote. Guys, tax lien is not wholesaling. You are buying a debt instrument that's secured to the property, and you're going to bid the interest rate down. And the more people want in on it, the lower the return you're going to get. Now, there's people that make double-digit returns on these, and they're very safe investment because you'll always get paid one way or the other. But the people that actually think they can buy real estate for pennies on the dollar through tax liens, I believe it's just comical. And the only ones that I ever find that are the ones given away are the ones that you can't build on the lot, the city doesn't want it, or there's a massive problem, or it's next to a super busy road and nobody wants to own the property. Guys, when a tax lien, it goes to a tax certificate, and when it goes to a tax deed auction, it goes in a regular foreclosure sale, and the highest bidder gets the property. Period. End of story. It doesn't mean if I have a $3,000 tax bill, you get the property for $3,000. It means if the property doesn't bid over $3,000, you get the property. What are the odds of that? They're very, 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 very slim. And honestly, if that's the property you want, that's the one that nobody else wants, and buyer beware on that. So just keep that in mind when it comes to just keep that in mind when it comes to tax liens. I hear that all the time. Now, you know exactly where I'm going with probates. You're insane if you don't do probates. And there's a reason. These are the only leads that third-party companies can't sell you because it's just too much work for them. And quite honestly, there's not enough of them, and they can't sell them 5 and 10 times over to you. See, the key to a third-party marketing company that's going to sell you leads is they're going to have to trick you on how many times they sell it over. That's the only way they can win. If they had to sell every lead straight up, it would probably cost them out because people probably aren't going to pay $300 to $500 a lead. But if I get someone to pay $50 for a lead and sell it 10 times over, that means they generated $500 on the lead. But keep in mind, you and me don't get privy to that information. Now, I know people say, well, they show it on their website. How can I guarantee that I'm the only person getting that lead? So unless you put it on a platform and then when you grab it, it pulls off and it's not available anymore, that's the only thing that would make me comfortable. And then make sure it doesn't pop up in 24 or 48 hours. Maybe that's worth discussing, but honestly, it would probably cost them too much. And I don't even blame them for doing that business model. But keep in mind, once you lose exclusivity, the lead can be sold so many times over. You think you're getting a good price on it and you find out the hard way. And that's it. Probates, guys, hands down, the most motivated sellers you'll ever deal with because you're dealing with the PR, the personal representative. Don't worry, guys. A third-party company cannot direct you in probates. It will never work. Number one, they don't understand it. Number two, they're not wholesalers. Number three, you're going to have to dig to get this information. Now, the really cool thing is you can scale this through XLeads. They're a little bit more dated, 30 days behind. But if you wanted to do scaling through probates, you could go through XLeads and absolutely crush it with this strategy. Guys, I love probates. Keep in mind, they have the most deferred maintenance. They typically have an out-of-state owner. And these properties usually need to trade hands because of a lot of issues. And it gives you the most flexibility and time as a wholesaler. So if they want to sell the property and you can help them out, probates are some of the greatest gifts you can be given as a wholesaler, even a brand new one, guys. Listen to me. I avoided doing these my first 8 years, and it was one of my biggest regrets. Now, here's the thing is, the reason why people don't sell you probate leads is, number one, they're not the easiest to get. Number two, it's probates. There's just not a lot of volume with it. So the average county will have 60 to 75 leads. Obviously, some of the bigger metropolitan areas like Houston and Tampa will have a bigger amount, but it's not a lot of leads. And you generate maybe 1 or 2 calls a month. And sometimes I have months that go by with absolutely no calls. Keep in mind, guys, I specialize in marketing to motivated sellers. That's why I'm so good at this business. That's where you make your money. Stop depending on other people to try to make you money because it's not going to work in this part of wholesaling. It never has and it never will. That's why you're so inundated with these third-party companies, either through PPC or PPL, is because they're making so much money, guys. Like they're going to keep selling you all the stuff. That's why they're constantly going to kind of reinvent the wheel. So we have to understand. Probates, hands down. I get more 6-figure deals and probates in single-family houses than any other source. So why on earth, listen to me, why on earth would you not do probates? I just want to like break this camera down and like smack you over the head with it. It just drives me nuts. So pre-foreclosures. Now, pre-foreclosures just means you're catching the foreclosure when it's early. That's it. So a pre-foreclosure, the sooner you catch them, the better off you're going to do. The problem with pre-foreclosures is there's a lot of drama. You have to look under the foreclosure section. You should be able to easily get this information online. If not, you can go in your XLeads account and that information is all set up for you under our filters for pre-foreclosures. Really, really simple. Pull the data. The sooner you catch them, the better off you're going to do. My God, these glasses drive me nuts. Hopefully you guys get better eyesight than I do. Okay, let's keep moving through this. Then we're going to really open up the conversation. The The eviction list, guys, I love these. Nobody likes to do evictions. So typically a landlord's going to do his own eviction. And a lot of states, even like Michigan, the landlord puts their phone number on the bottom of the complaint. I've never seen an easier state to do evictions in Michigan. Why? Because all the information's on there. It's like a listing on an MLS service. And remember, when they're going to kick the tenant out, that's usually when they're most vulnerable to selling the property because they have no rental income. The property is usually trashed. And if they're ever going to make a decision to cut and run on the property, it will be when they have an income gap on it. Now, this list isn't huge either, but it's valuable. And you'll find out who the real landlords in your area. And any one of you can pull this information. Oh my God, I don't have to buy this from a third-party company. How exciting. It's exclusive to me because I know I'm the only one calling on my behalf. Yes, am I going to have other investors reaching out to them? Yes, but you're not average. If you learn through us, you understand that you have the discipline to follow through, use systems like XLeads so you can stand out from all the other competition. And that's the best way to handle these types of deals. Evictions, guys, listen, they're a little bit cold, but honestly, if you get someone who's emotional on eviction, they're some of the easiest deals you will ever do. We have to understand that. Okay, let me check some questions here and we will keep ripping through this because now we're going to get into the deep discussions. Awesome, man. Good to see you guys. So everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully you didn't eat too much. I know I did. What's up, Santiago? Appreciate it, man. Look at this. 1.5 years wholesaling, 20 years in real estate. That's awesome. I love to see people even when they switch sides. So awesome. Terrence asks, are mid-states slower during the winter? Yeah. I mean, winter's typically a little bit slower other than like the Southeast where it doesn't snow as much, but we'll figure it out. So then it says, who has subject to cash buyers? I have them. Maybe you want to give a couple deals on how to do it. So let's answer this one. Is there a way to get government leads for natural disasters? Here's how I look at natural disasters because I deal with it a lot in Florida with hurricanes. Don't be the person that goes in and attacks initially on a natural disaster. If you guys think back to Houston, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years ago, they had that terrible, terrible flood. I think that was in hurricane induced. I'm not sure. Guys, when natural disasters happen, for 6 to 9 months, you are blocked out. You just, it's not going to go well if you start beating on doors and stuff like that. But when that dust settles, there'll be plenty of opportunity. So right now in Tampa, Sarasota, they're still dealing with the storm from a year ago. They are flooded with properties on the market, literally flooded with flooded properties. And so if you think you're beating the punch by going early, you're not, because number one, a flooded home, in my opinion, is the most difficult home of them all to sell. It's like selling a flooded car. And you can't hide from it because if the home was flooded in that area, it's going to be earmarked and you're going to have to get special certification to make sure it's gone through that. So my opinion on natural disasters, let them work out at least 9 months and then you can start marketing. But the problem is sometimes you enter those markets too early and you think you've got a grasp. Like in Sarasota, like the southern part of Tampa in that area, there's so many homes that need rehab, specifically flood related. It's very hard to even price that market because there's so much supply and there's only so many rehabbers. And so I don't even like those guys. And that's the difficult part when it comes to natural disasters. As much as we want to help it out, you got to let the market kind of sort itself out. And I don't want to get stuck with a property that I can't sell. And when they're flooded, the problem is if one property is flooded, there's probably 10 to 50,000 homes in that area flooded, and the market's going to dictate the value of those. And that's where it can become problematic. So, Jonathan says, anyone on the fence about XLeads needs to take the plunge. It is a great system. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay. So let's get into, I've gone through most of the common list. And if you guys want to know all the list, go over to freewholesaling.com. Why do you think me and Zach are the only ones that share the lists that don't actually cost you any money? By the way, guys, I've never been paid by a third party lead service company. And by the way, anybody wants to check up on me, go for it. Why? Number one, I already kind of know what they're doing. And number two, have I referred them? Yeah, but the reality is your return on investment is usually pretty rough. So if they were providing such an amazing value, they would have such a long list of customers from 4 or 5 years ago, or whenever they started the business, that it would be such a no-brainer. And the leads would probably be around $700-800 each. Because honestly, if you gave me a motivated seller lead handed on a platter, the reality, a high quality lead, high quality, is worth around $2,500. I would pay that with my eyes shut. But now as we go down to 500, which is very rare to see a lead sold for that amount, unless it's like a PPC lead. But then when we start going to these done for you companies, it's between $300 and like $100, maybe even $50. Come on. There's still work to be required to be done there. And that's okay. That's what we need to sign up for. And we know we can do that. So freewholesaling.com, we'll put all the lists because you need to know how to do the free ones first. So you properly evaluate if you want to buy a third party lead, what you should expect as a return on investment. Now, I've already told you how I do my returns on direct mail. So let's talk about, guys, just by using your XLeads account, I want you to think about this. If you had an XLeads account, even the basic one, you get 25,000 leads a month. That is enough of a lead magnet that you can spread the wealth around, find other people in Zach Discord, Wholesaling Houses for Real, in our school group, 58,000 plus people, and find people that will go out and cold call for you and give you direct exclusive leads. Oh my God. You meaning, Rick, I already paid for that in my XLeads account? Yes. Who else is going to give you 25,000 leads? I'll hold my breath and wait for these companies to speak out because they won't do it. Why? They're too cheap to provide you the data. And number two, they're not wholesalers and they don't understand the game. By taking these leads, you can find somebody that's in a particular market, say they're in Atlanta, Georgia, and go, listen, here's 5,000 motivated seller leads. You call them, anyone you can get a lead with, I'll split it with you 50-50. And maybe you take that lead and you do that 5 or 10 times over. I promise you, you're going to find people that you can partner up with. And would you rather partner up 50-50 with someone and understanding they have to do the return on time, ROT, as opposed to you guys returning, trying to calculate your return on investment? Because return on investment, eventually, you got to admit, the entire like done for you leads program has been around for about 10 years. Not one of them will share any of their return on investment. Now, they'll all tell you about your return on time, but that's great. But if I have to pay 5 or 10 grand to get my time back and I don't turn it into a deal, then not only is it a bad ROI, it's a bad ROT. So by using the XLeads JV system, even with your basic account, and those of you that have the X-Plan account, you get 65,000 leads. You can do tremendous damage out there. You can provide cold call leads that are skip traced. And remember, if you partner with them, they don't get paid till the deal's done. So your return on investment is infinite. Your return on time is minimal. And is it going to work out for everyone? Absolutely not. But think about the ones that it does work out. It's phenomenal. And you already have it. You don't have to pay anything extra. You guys are looking at all these companies you want to pay. You got to join. You got to get a membership or like an exclusivity thing. And so what I'm trying to preach on you today is harvest what you already have. You guys are always looking to buy something. A lot of times, everything you have is within your organization right now. So why don't you maximize your lead generation and everything you have now? And with that, you'll get your own exclusive leads. You'll know the date they're derived and you know where the lead came from. If you can't answer those 3 questions, for God's sakes, do not buy the lead. I'm telling you, it just makes no sense. Think about this. That's like you buying a car and not knowing what year it was built, not knowing what the mileage on the car is, and you have no history to any of the damage on the car. Would you buy that car? You already know the answer. It's a hell no, I'm not buying that car. But you guys throw the same abandoned recklessness when buying leads. You don't know where it came from. You don't know how old the lead is. You don't know if it was a cold call, a PPC. You have no idea if it's a direct mail. And then you don't have any type of recording or anything of the event. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Depends on the type of lead. Or you have a computer screen on the landing page. But you're still willing to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on leads like that. And there's no way for you to verify and go, oh, listen, if it's bad, they just give me a refund. I'm like, they're giving you a refund because it's not their leads. Remember, these people do not generate their own leads. So how can we fix that? That's easy. Once again, utilize the skills we teach you as a wholesaler. If you can derive your own leads, you can do anything in wholesaling. In fact, 80% of your leads should be derived from you. And that other 20% can be JV deals, or maybe you can pay for some leads that you can verify that those are exclusive, the date you got it, and you know exactly where they came from. If you can hit all three of those, knock yourselves out, because that's what it's going to take to do it. So by using your XLeads account, even your basic one, guys, 25,000 leads, spread the wealth. I would have gone crazy when I started wholesaling. If someone give me a list of even 1,000 people with their phone number, I would sit in my home, in my room, and I would just rip through every one of them. Why? Because I want to win so bad in wholesaling. Now, I didn't have a lot of money, so that was my only option if I was going to do it that way. I went out and knocked on doors. So today you have the options where you can designate any leads in your XLeads account, and you can partner up with these people. I know what you're thinking, well, what if they cut me out? Well, are you even utilizing the 25,000 leads? If you only use 10,000 a month, you should be giving out 15,000. And just do a learn and earn program. So many people are excited with real estate. Everybody knows that's the path where people make most of their net worth. And so why do you think it'd be any different going into 2025 to 2026? It's the same exact same thing. We have to understand that. Okay, let's keep moving here. Now, here's the one that we need to talk and expand a little bit more about, because this has really been the game changer. It's cold call centers done for you. Now, here's the really cool news. The one thing we figured out in 2025, this is very factual information. Number one, do you want to know the top 2 ways 90% of wholesale leads are derived from? You ready? Put it in the comments. What do you think are the top 2 ways, techniques? So when I say that, not the list, but how we deliver the marketing message. What are the top 2 ways that 90% of all wholesale real estate leads are derived from? Put it in the comments, because I think this is kind of eye-opening. I'm not going to put it in there. We'll talk a little bit more. I'll let you guys put it in there. I got cold calling here. What do you guys think about cold calling? You think cold calling leads are like hot? Everybody's like, oh my God, it's illegal. Listen, guys, there's been a recent case where somebody has taken on the commission on cold calling as a wholesaler, and they won because we're not selling them anything. So you have the ability to cold call people and you're not breaking a law. I know it's open to interpretation depending on what state on you. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you, there's case law already derived from it. I got SMS blast, which is significant. Don't get me wrong, but we have the winner right here. It's just mail, not snail mail, but it's okay. Did you know that 90% of all leads are fabricated from direct mail and cold calling? Now, that doesn't mean the list. You can curate that to any list you can do it. But think about this. The number 1 ways leads are supplied in wholesaling is direct mail. Why? Because it's scalable and it's 100% legal. And now cold calling, which we verified, which is legal as a wholesaler, as long as you're not a licensed real estate agent, which I told you, don't get your real estate license. And now the people that told you, oh my God, cold calling's dead, you can't never do it. All of a sudden, they're just, I can't find them anymore. Or they're doing Oh, that's right. They have their own lead generating service company. So I get it. So guys, if we know that mail and cold calling are the top ways that most of us derive our leads, you guys can handle your own direct mail. I don't want you to do it in the beginning, but me and Zach 100% teach you. I'm an expert on direct mail. 5 to 6 times return. Once you know how to cultivate your list through XLeads and do all that stuff, you can do amazing things with it. But if you understand that, at some point you should find a way to do direct mail. Number one, you're not going to get third-party providers to do it for that because they would actually have to show you transparencies, how many pieces they mailed out, how many phone calls they got. That's all stuff that you should be able to handle, period. Just answer the phone. Number two, cold calling. By the way, most of the companies that are providing these leads for you are utilizing third-party cold calling companies. Now, I don't have a problem with that. The problem is it's not their leads. And so if it's not their leads, that's when all authenticity goes out the window. I have no idea when it was derived. It's a few months old. Like, guys, do you understand a few months old is not the same as getting a fresh lead? So what's our alternative to this? If we know most of the leads are already being derived from cold callers, why don't you just cut out the middleman? What do I mean? Why would I buy cold call leads from a lead provider that doesn't really do wholesaling? They're just in the business of marketing the wholesalers. Once again, they have the right to do that. Why don't you just find a way to go directly to these cold call centers? Now you're on to something. Because if I can have direct access to a cold call center, I know the date the lead was derived. I know exactly how it was derived through a cold call. And I get a copy of the MP3 and if you want a transcript. You guys are all paying enormous amounts of money through these third-party companies. And the thing is, Susie's buying it, Johnny's buying it, Sally's buying it, and Rick's buying it. Do you understand how the game's played now? Now, they're legally allowed to do this, but because there's no transparency in any shape, way, or form, you can't go to their offices, period. It just is what it is. They have a Stripe account and they do it. Now, they're allowed to do that. But what if you just replace these companies? How do I do that? Well, Rick, how do I do a cold call center? It's not that hard. And if you guys bear with me, I'm going to have an option for you, because the one thing we learned with the Dollar Leads Club is we heard loud and clearly what you guys want. See, I don't react to anybody other businesses. I do what's best for the wholesaler. I let everybody react around me because you can't run a business if you react. That means everybody else is steering your ship. You guys wanted fresh leads. You want them market specific. By the way, most of the cold call leads you buy from third-party companies are nationwide because they can't be specific. You know why? Because it's not their cold call center. They don't have any of that control. And by the way, they are wholesaling these cold call leads because there's no way to verify where they came from. And the reason why you can get a refund on all of them is because it's not their lead. They're just consigning it, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. So if we understand that, what if I could provide you a solution? There are companies out there that you can go out there right now. They will train the cold caller for you. They will manage the cold caller. They'll help you curate the list. And then they will upload your leads into like your XLeads account. And what does that give me? Think about this for a second. I get my own leads. I get them time-stamped. I know exactly where they are. And I don't buy like 500 leads in a set. I get a couple trickled in every day. You know why? Because that shows the lead's authentic. We know where it came from. And I don't have 400 other people calling them that the third-party vendor sold the lead to. Guys, this is the wave of the future. And this is where everybody is going. And for the longest time, me and Zach taught you guys how to do the cold calls. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not saying those days aren't over. You can actually do that. But the reality is, for as little as $4 to $5 an hour, you can have someone do the cold calling for you. And here's the best part is, when we used to teach you to do it on your own, you had to train them. You had to learn how to do the KPIs. You had to train them on the script. You had to go over these numbers, if not on a daily basis. And then you had to go over the leads and the quality of the leads and the type of list you do. It was actually mind blowing. And most of you are spending between $5,000 and $10,000 to do that. So under $1,000, you can hire these third-party companies. Don't worry, I'm going to have the best one available for you soon enough. We're in the process of, we beta test everything we do. And we took the information you guys gave us with dollar leads, and you guys just wanted the amount of demand we got for dollar leads. We had to pull back and go, okay, how can we make this better? Because we cannot supply at this rate. Now, by the way, I had one guy get 4 contracts off $1 lead pack, I think of 500. And we did 3 on our own company, and a host of other people did them. So they worked, but you had to do volume, and they weren't sold exclusive. They were exclusive on our platform, and that's it. So you guys said, hey, listen, we want our own leads. We want them time-stamped. We want the MP3. Oh, and by the way, we want them market specific. That's what you guys want. That's what you're about to get. And we're going to solve that. I believe that is the wave of the future to do investments in third-party companies. Now, I would only buy from a company that actually does wholesaling, because they understand what a quality lead is. They understand how to vet them, and they know how to do it. Remember, most lead companies, lead generating companies, are in the business of just selling the lead, not your success, just selling the lead. That's why it's sold multiple times over. So if we do that, if you can find a cold call center done for you, and by the way, if you're into our M2M program, we have a center where we vet them, we do everything, you get your KPIs, and that way you get your own exclusive leads in your specific market. And on average, you're paying less than $50 a lead when it's all said and done. Now, guys, $50 a lead, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but if it's your own lead and you don't have to worry about everybody else stealing it and being sold 100 times over, the lead's worth a lot of money to you. And I already told you, if you handed me a lead that was a cookie cut ready to go for $2,500, I'd pay you in a heartbeat, because I know I'll make 15 to 20 grand off of it. In fact, I'd pay you 5 grand for the lead. But the reality is not all leads come in the exact same shape and sizes, and there's always work that has to be done on these leads. So if we know this, guys, I'm telling you, if you've ever done cold calling yourself, source it out. Your worst case scenario is around $1,000 a month. That'll go through about 10 to 12,000 leads. From that, you can expect 1 to 2 leads per day. And guys, this is the way to go. Stop doing everything nationwide. I don't have a problem with the nationwide part, but the problem is you don't have control. Is if you can dispo the property, and you got to get a deep discount to do nationwide dispo on wholesale deals. Why? Because you're not familiar with that market. Now, that being said, I already gave you 6 other options to find motivated wholesale leads. And we have to understand that. Why can't we do this? Why can't we just do the cold call center done for us? I'm leaning more and more towards this because it makes financial sense, because you don't go crazy. Now, here's the difference is I don't have to spend 5 to 10 grand a month on PPL or PPC. Why? Because I know the authenticity of these leads. Why is that thing? Oh, it's got a timer on it. Geez. I got to fix that. I had no idea. Timer off. Okay. Think about this. So if I paid $1,000 a month and I got 45 leads, it comes to what? $45 a lead? Guys, that is an incredible return. And the thing is, you can quantitate the number. And within 60 days, you should be able to quantify at worst 90 days. Now, I love direct mail, but it's a little bit steeper of a cost. It's about 5 grand a month. And we get a 5 to 6 times return on it. So the idea is within 2 months, if you can just get one wholesale deal, this should be a no-brainer. So if I spent $2,000 to generate 80 to 90 leads and I got one deal out of that, do you think that is a great return on investment? It is. Now, let me ask you, if you can calculate this, the problem is now you got to take that same return on investment and put that to PPC and PPL. You're not going to get those numbers. PPC is really designed for very large campaigns, people with very deep pockets that are okay with very small returns. I'm not saying PPC doesn't work. It's just, it's usually out of the new beginner's budget, period. And for the fact is PPL, There's certain ones that work better than other ones. I don't really have any affiliations with these companies because I just, they don't work that great. Some people get some great hits. I've yet to find anybody in PPL that's consistently used it over 5 years to make an incredible return. Why is that? Guys, if it was so great, I would be doing it. 23 years, I would be doing it. So can you get lucky with it? Yeah. Can you go on a roll? Yeah. But eventually it's like Vegas. You got to keep pulling that slot thing and keep paying for the leads. And eventually you're going to get priced out. And remember, he or she that masters marketing is always in control. So I don't blame these companies for what they're doing, but there's a reason why they're not dedicated wholesalers. They don't listen. If their business models were so good, they would have their own wholesale companies and they would be making millions and millions upon of it. And there's a reason why they don't do that, because it's much easier to sell the leads. The problem is if they just made them exclusive, we would fix the problem. And until that is addressed, it's always going to be a challenge on there. So let's go back and answer some questions here and see what we can do. They asked, can a realtor have the VS cold call for us with little risk? The problem is if you're licensed as a realtor, that's a legal question. And I don't want to put my foot in my mouth because I'm not a lawyer. I'm a wholesaler. So I get this question all the time. Can I cold call a person if they're on the DNC registry? You tell me. If you're not a licensed realtor, are you selling them anything? If you're not selling them anything, recent court cases have ruled that if you're not selling them anything and you're not a licensed real estate agent, or you're not making any type of service offer or selling a product, you can. That's the whole point of this. Most of you guys obsess over DNC and all these people. Oh, you're going to get sued. You're going to get sued. Guys, it rarely happens. I'm not going to say it never happens, but I've been doing this a long time. Have I been attacked by this? I got hit hard on RVM. That was the ringless voicemail. By the way, that was phenomenal, but it's basically outlawed in my state. Most of the states I do it. It was so effective, I had no problem paying the fine. That's how good it was. It's absolutely crazy. So we have to understand that. Let me go back and answer some of these questions. Brandon asked, what are the best questions to ask if you're trying to get a probate list in person? It's simply to get the last 30 days of the freshest probate leads. And if you can point out where I can find the PR, the personal representative and or executor on this docket list, just play stupid. So I don't always have to play stupid because sometimes I just am stupid, but I learned how to do probates. I learned with the assistance of the probate clerk. I'd actually go there and they would sit there and answer 30 minutes of my questions. And what I would do is I would actually get the probate out and I would ask them to help me read through it. They go, okay, here's the deceased person. Here's the property address. Oh, and here's the person that petitioned for the probate. Oh, and here is the proposed PR. Once I figured that out, I was golden. That took me months to figure out. So go ahead and use the services you already pay for in your court system, and it should help you out phenomenally. I know it's helped me out a lot, and I want you guys to understand that. Belinda says, what's the support contact info for M2M? I'm a member, I cannot log in. So you should be part of the school group. The M2M school group, you should be in there, Belinda. So if not, you can do a password reset. If not, just reach out and I'm sure you can get hold of Corey Evan or one of our support team members to help us out. By the way, guys, I got 12 people on staff for that. So, which reminds me, we're going through some announcements here. I put the link on the bottom, join the m2m.com. We've actually just came out with an annual offer on it. It knocks 30% off the price, and I love committed people, but we still have the monthly if you want to do that. And that's on the bottom of the screen there for you if you want to do that. And you can definitely take advantage of the M2M program. It's phenomenal, and we're having a lot of success with it. But remember, you guys got to do the work at the end of the day. It's not me and Zach doing the work. It's not Corey and Evan. It's you guys. So we want you to learn from the entire M2M team, our entire XLeads teams, because we believe in you. And listen, you could go to freewholesaling.com. If you don't have any money, that's where I would tell everyone to start. I try to help everybody out. I'm no different. But guys, I've been doing this live stream for 5 years now. 5 years. We talk about massive amount of discipline. Do I always want to do it? Yeah, I do. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But do I pick up 5,000? I don't care how many subscribers I pick up. The only thing I care about is the person watching this video. I'm not a metrics guy on how many subscribers. I have a decent amount of subscribers, but as long as I show up every month, that's it. I watch like some of these kids that come in, they get 20, 30,000 followers in like a year, and then they just stop and they're like, Rick, why am I struggling so much? You just got to learn to be consistent through your own discipline. You got to show up every day. I've had times where I was even through Flip with Rick, we were picking up like an insane amount of subscribers. And I've been there when we're barely picking up anyone. Here's the difference is I don't change how I operate based on the amount of subscribers I have. I don't hire third-party companies to try to push my numbers. It's a vanity metric. The only person that should care is the person that I'm looking through on this camera. That's all I care about. And if I do that, I'm going to be here for another 20 years doing this. You guys know my son's super young. Like a lot of you guys, the Ginns are going to be here forever, which I might add that it just seems like the entire wholesaling platform is really changing in 2026. And I love anyone who puts a positive light on wholesaling. Even if we don't agree, I commend you for everything you do. And I think it's phenomenal. And from that part, I love anybody who takes advantage of shedding light on wholesaling. Now, I believe we have a responsibility not to sit here and constantly bash and talk negatively about wholesaling. It's just these constant videos about this is going to be illegal. You can't do this and that. Are there changes? Yes. There's been changes since the start of time. Wholesaling is always going to be here, guys. We might call it something else eventually, but as long as there's properties for sale in the United States, there will always be wholesaling. There's always a need. There will always be a need for realtors. God only knows why, but there is. And the reality is, I'm never going to sit here and bash the industry that really allowed me to become financially free, really allowed me to help out as many people as possible. And the fact I'm still here on a live stream with you, when a lot of other people are kind of waning off, all of a sudden it's like, it's a big chore to do a live stream. If you love wholesaling, you show up every day for it. I show up for this business. I show up for you. I show up for my son. Why? Because I actually love this business. And I see a huge change in the guards and wholesaling. Obviously, the Ginns are going to be around for a long, long time doing this. Obviously, with my son's age, he really loves this business. He's passionate about it. And he beats to his own drum. We don't go to coaching seminars. We don't learn the greatest techniques on how to do affiliate sales with other coaches. I'll let them do that, and they can run around their little circle and enjoy it, because you're not going to get anywhere doing that. Guys, you got to stop hiring all these consultants. There's more consultants than there are wholesalers. It's ridiculous to me what's going on out there. But people want to know why me and Zach are different, because we only focus in on what the wholesaler wants. Now, I've watched a lot of people come in and out of wholesaling the last 4 or 5 years. That seems to be the average life cycle. We're just getting started, guys. We're barely scraping the iceberg. This is why I don't talk negatively about wholesaling. I love the business of wholesaling. And the fact is, when people do negative stuff on wholesaling, I got to wonder, like, why are you doing this to a business that literally made you who you are? And then I'm watching videos of people who are leaving. I'm leaving wholesaling because I don't agree with it anymore. That was funny. It was perfectly good for you when you're making millions of dollars. And now you have a difference. That's fine. But once again, discipline is the ultimate skill of a wholesaler. Guys, I'm going on 24 years. I've always stayed in my lane here. This is what I do as wholesaling. You want me to teach you about yoga? You want me to teach you about quantum physics? Do you want me to teach you about other like monetary things? You don't want me to do that. Trust me. I'm a student just like the rest of you are. and we're always going to be here. So if I can consistently show up, and I want you guys going in 2026, the usual people that have guided you through wholesaling, they've decided it's not good for them anymore. They've decided it's becoming illegal and it's banned, and they're going to go to higher moral ground. Well, they have the right to do that, and I'm fine with it. Just follow the people that actually do wholesaling, that are actually in the fight, that learn and teach you how to derive your own leads like I am on this live stream, because that's what you need to survive in wholesaling. If you guys keep farming out all your leads and you're going to depend on third-party companies for everything, you're not going to make a lot of money in wholesaling. Will you get deals? You will, but you're going to give up so much of your deal just to derive that lead. And once again, it's like pulling that roulette wheel. Am I going to make money today? I don't know. So let's take even the example I've taught you in this one, the 7 simple ways how you guys can derive your own wholesale leads, the highest motivated ones. Most of them don't cost you any money. They will cost you time. Then understand the 2 facts. 90% of all wholesale deals are derived from cold calling and direct mail. Now, I don't want you to start out direct mail. Just understand I'm a master of direct mail. And I ethically and responsible won't let you start off doing direct mail because it's too much pressure for someone to spend $5,000 a month. Keep in mind, I don't have a $5,000 a month, whatever it is, coaching. And a lot of times when you guys buy these big coaching programs, you find out you got to spend all this money on these third-party lead generation services. And remember, a majority of that money is going to the person that's promoting it. Just for the record, I've never received one dime, not one dime, from a third-party lead generator. And I'm not going to use the word generator because they don't generate, they just broker the leads. So if anyone wants to challenge on me, just show me the canceled check, because I don't sell out to anybody. And so if I'm going to teach you how I derive my own wholesale leads and teach you how to do it, then you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. The people that are telling you that wholesaling is illegal, they kind of do live streams whenever they want, understanding the change of guard is here. I already see it loud and clear. It is so black and white, 2026, where wholesaling is going, who's leading it, and who are the people actually doing wholesaling and showing you how to do all this great lead generation techniques without depending on third-party companies. Guys, I like the cold call centers. Actually, I think there's a huge need for it. Instead of paying $200 or $300 for a lead, or $100 or even $80, why not just hire a cold call center, get the leads? That way you have a vaulted lock where you can pull the leads out, get leads fed to you fresh and daily. You know exactly where they derive from. You know how you got the lead, and you know they're time-stamped, and you know they're exclusive to you. That is going to be the wave of how we're going to go forward with this. Keep in mind, you still got to do all your other lead generation devices. You have to. And then if you really want to scale it up, you get up to around 5 deals a month, or just your first 5 deals, reach out to us. Jump over to M2M, and we will show you how to do the direct mail and how to scale your business. I've taught Evan, I've taught Corey, I've taught at least, well, I know 55 people that have been massively successful, and I know I can replicate it with you. So I make it affordable where anybody can go in there without going absolutely broke. Our minimum requirement is $500 a month in marketing, because if I'm going to get you a deal in 90 days, that's what it's going to take to do that. Can you do it without it? Technically you can. freewholesaling.com. And I will run that right here on the bottom for you guys. Check that out. It is the only course out there. It's 100% free. And I will tell you this, if you're looking to buy a wholesale course, do me a favor. Look at my course, because I don't require a credit card. And then do me a favor. If you buy that course, I would love you to do a line-by-line item comparison of it. Why? Because every guru has my course, because I believe transparency is the key in holding people accountable. And the fact that most of these people would show you the course before you buy it would take a lot of the sting out of it. How many videos, how many PDFs, how much information is it? I think that's just all valuable information. So I give you a free trial version of it. Free. It's not even a trial. I just give it to you. And that's the best way to do this business. So Fabio says, there's no videos and email blasting in M2M. How can I go about it? Once again, that's an individual level. We work with you on it, and it depends on the strategy you're doing. So you can work with our entire team. They'll show you how to do it. And inside of XLeads, we have an entire training We have onboarding every day, and we have an open session that we run 5 days a week that they'll go in there and show you anything that you want to learn. There's so many things you can do in there. You just got to be specific. So I appreciate it, Jonathan. Thank you. So it says, how do you wholesale in states that pass the Predatory Real Estate Wholesaler Prohibition Act? What do you include in the contracts? It's mostly disclosures. Guys, you have the right to enter a contract in the United States unless they throw the Constitution in the garbage and just declare it outlawed. Stop worrying about all these ridiculous little nicks. You guys are watching too many videos. You're watching videos from people that I've already told you they're exiting the wholesaling business. Why? Because they don't believe it anymore. Well, if they don't believe it, why would you take advice from them? Guys, I'm watching hundreds of transactions take place every day. 9 times out of 10, if you disclose the material facts and you're not a licensed real estate agent, just find out the specifics in the market that you're doing. Like Tennessee, all you have to do is give them one disclosure and you're perfectly legal. Why? Because I do a ton of deals in Tennessee. South Carolina, same issue. I can keep going on and on, guys. Almost all these laws are completely unenforceable. I don't want anyone to be a victim here. I'm not giving you legal advice, but you got to be specific with the state that you're talking about to make sure you're covered. Let me see here. So here's a good one. Let's go over this real quick. It says, can I buy a domain first to finish my business profile, then make a website, then buy a domain? I assume you're talking about some sort of A2P compliance. Let me see if I missed it. To be honest with you, if you have an XLeads account, we actually give you a website. Now, you can mask it with your own domain, or you can copy and paste it, the generic one. And then usually you have to get your own WordPress site just to host it. That's just a common business expense you have to do. It's very, very inexpensive, 20, 30 bucks. And buying a domain, guys, just please don't put a lot of thought or money into it because it doesn't matter. People are selling their house to you, the individual, not the company. Even though technically they are doing it to the company, I'm just here to tell you, your domain is not going to make a difference in your success of your wholesaling business. That I absolutely 100% promise you. So, guys, I would be real curious if you guys want to post it here or not. Let me know who you, listen, I'm not the only person who talks wholesaling on YouTube, nor should I be. Obviously, you know my son. You guys know Max Deer. He's phenomenal. He started out at freewholesaling.com. The guy's just incredibly talented in dispo. He handles all our dispo deals. Really good marketer. I believe people like him and my son are really the future of wholesaling. I'm just I'm enjoying what I do. I really enjoy spending time with my son. We talk about real estate. My wife and my daughter nag us about us all the time because it's like what we do. It's what we love. And, but I would love to see in your comments who you guys are getting your information from. Because I already know by some of the comments who you're getting your information from. And they're from people that only put out, it just seems like really negative videos about wholesaling. And yeah, we have some problems in wholesaling, but do we have to sit here and just constantly do negative stuff about it? I can find a problem with anything. The question is, can you find the solution? And me and Zach are always geared on finding the solution. It doesn't take much to present the problem or overinflate it, like calling something illegal when it's not illegal. That is a complete misrepresentation of facts, period. End of story. I could go on and on. It gets out of control. When choosing a business name, which ending sounds more psychologically appealing to both sellers and buyers? Solutions, partners, group, or thank you? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're always going to buy from you, the individual. So like one of my companies that I initially founded, I did something that had meaning to me. So when people go, what is the name of your company? Well, mine was the initials of everybody in my family. And like, oh my God, you're a family guy. So do some sort of tie-in like that. But in the end, like it really doesn't, it doesn't make a tremendous difference because they're going to buy from you. Uh, so Ariel, let me know if you're doing those dollars yourself or using a third-party company. That would be helpful to figure that one out. So let's see here. What else we got? So if you guys got any other questions, kind of put them in here. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Long time no speak. I do got to get out to Vegas. That's definitely going to happen in 2026. But he's right on this. So the majority of society will always give you what the problem is because it's so easy. You ever know that person in your, it's always in your family. Guys, we just went through these Thanksgiving meals. And it's like, I've never seen people point out so many problems in my life. And like we had an event where it was like, we were going to eat outside, it started raining and it was like a big controversy. And I'm just like, you know what? I go, at the end of the day, when I'm dead, are we going to still be having this conversation? And we're not. So I put no energy into it. I let them arrange the tables that they want. It was my house. And I just decided just some family just wants to argue about anything and everything. And they always, you ever have that family member that just points out everything wrong? Like you could do everything perfect. They will find the one flaw in you. And by the way, you can never shed a mirror back onto them because they have no flaws. And I find most people that, just, it's just human nature to find everything that's negative. That's why I don't like videos that are so negative about wholesaling because we can find something wrong with anything. But the reality is wholesaling is helping out so many people. It provides a future for people. And I just find it funny that people made their entire life earnings on wholesaling, sold lifetime programs, sold evergreen, suddenly have now decided they're going to take the higher ground and exit the business. It means they made so much damn money that they don't have to do the lifetime programs. And by the way, when they exit, they don't have to honor any of the agreements when they leave. Just saying. Some people try to make so much money so fast so they can take it and retire and do everything. And by the way, most gurus I ever met, that's pretty much their sole plan. This is why I don't sell wildly expensive products because I plan on being here a long, long time. So I don't want to cannibalize my own customers. I always want to provide value. Will I always provide better and more expensive products? Eventually. But right now, I'm here to help out as many people as I humanly possibly can. And I can't do it if I charge everybody 10, 15 grand just to get it going. So that's awesome. Oh my God, looks like a good fight. Okay. So guys, a few questions on dollar leads and diamonds. So as of right now, we are fulfilling all the orders that we committed to. And we're going to slightly pause it because we have something. As I said, we've decided to hire a higher caliber for you guys. And what we find is you guys you want specific areas and you want the leads fed on a daily basis and you want them exclusive. We are going to fulfill that order. So if you are part of it, we will fulfill what you've already paid for. We will give you the option to keep your subscription. It'd be crazy if you leave it because if you're already with us, we're going to give you extra bonuses and features, and then we're going to roll that puppy out. Our announcement will be what is it? I want to say within 2 weeks. So we have worked diligently behind the scenes. We'll get it. Nobody else can provide what we're about to provide. Not even close. So we're relying on it in our company, but as I said, we use all the techniques we taught you in today's live stream. Guys, listen to me. At the end of the day, I want you to derive your own leads first. Why? Because it's going to make you the most money, and you don't have to sit there and ask people what is the return on investment. You're going to have to spend a little bit more time, but I promise you it'll be well worth it in the end. And guys, keep in mind, make sure you're getting information from wholesaling of people actually doing wholesaling and are positive about the business. We could talk about some of the problems. Every time me and Zach talk about a problem, we talk about the solution. It's too easy just to tell you, oh my God, this is this is, they wrote this piece of legislation that basically you can't do this. It doesn't mean it's illegal. It just has an additional requirement step you need to do. And guys, if you're honest and transparent with your wholesaling business, when you have a motivated sellers, they just want help. They 9 times out of 10, they don't give a crap what you're going to do with the property. The people you got to watch out for, the ones with like real estate agent stuff, and those aren't your target markets. I don't teach that. I know a lot of teachers teach that. I don't teach it. Why all of a sudden you don't see anything about MLS wholesaling? Because you guys have gone through the entire cycle in 2025 and it hasn't worked out for most of you. It's just the God honest truth. So guys, if you've got any message to understand, deriving your own wholesale leads will make you the most money. We'll put you in charge. And understanding almost every lead being sold to you is derived from some sort of cold calling. So just let's cut out the middleman. Let's get the point of attack where it gives you the best price, gives you the best transparency, gives you the exclusivity of the lead that you want, and go out and get it. But go out and pull your government list, do your JV deals. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, I've been wholesaling 23 years. I've watched companies come and go. There'll be more companies coming behind them making like wild promises. And we learned a lot with the dollar leads. And we decided that we want the highest quality. We can't stand the part where the leads are sold over and over again. And that needs to be addressed sooner and later. Now, I can't control what other companies do. I can only control what I do. And since I've been wholesaling just over 23 years, I'm going to be around a long time. You guys know my son's age. He's going to be around long time. And guys, keep in mind, make sure you show up to the people that consistently do the live streams, that consistently bring you value to the videos, and consistently bring you solutions to wholesaling in today's modern age, especially going into 2026. Guys, listen, do me a favor. If you got value from this video, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. The biggest compliment you can pay me. And give me a like if you enjoyed the video. Guys, I'll be on tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on Flip with Rick. I will go in a deeper conversation on the topic there. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. See you then. See you guys.